Imagine boarding a night train, tired but relieved to be heading home. The carriage is crowded, too crowded, but you tell yourself it's only for a few hours. You lean against the window, staring into the blackness of the mountains. The sound of the steam locomotive chugging through the cold March night is oddly comforting. Then the train slows and stops, deep inside a mountain tunnel. You wait, thinking it's just a short delay. Minutes pass. The air feels warmer, heavier, and then breathing becomes difficult. By the time rescuers arrive the next day, the silence is absolute. Over 500 people are dead, their faces pale and still, as if frozen mid-sleep. This is the story of the deadliest railway disaster in Italian history, and one of the most haunting tragedies of World War II.
The year is 1944. Italy is torn in two. The Allied forces have landed in the south while German troops still control the north. The war has shattered the country's infrastructure. Food is scarce. Black markets thrive. Trains are one of the few ways to move people and goods through a nation split by conflict. Balvano, a small town in southern Italy, lies along a mountainous railway route connecting Naples to Potenza. The Army Tunnel, over 900 meters long, cuts through steep, rocky hills. It's a difficult stretch for locomotives even in peacetime, but in wartime, with outdated equipment and poor maintenance, it's treacherous. On the night of March 2, 1944, Train 8017, a mixed freight passenger service, departs from Naples. It is pulled by two steam locomotives and loaded with goods, coal, and passengers. Officially, passenger services are restricted due to the war, but hundreds of civilians, desperate to reach family, escape danger, or trade goods, have boarded illegally. The train is dangerously overloaded. Witnesses later estimate more than 600 people aboard, some crammed into freight cars, others clinging to buffers, couplings, even the roofs. The night is cold and damp. The steam engines work hard climbing into the mountains. Coal is in short supply, so low-quality fuel, high in moisture and impurities, is used. It burns poorly, producing thick, heavy smoke. Around 1 a.m., Train 8017 approaches the Army Tunnel. The gradient here is steep, 12.5 per mil, forcing the locomotives to work at full power. Inside the tunnel, the smoke has nowhere to go. The locomotives belch exhaust into the confined space, filling it with carbon monoxide, a colorless, odorless gas that is lethal in minutes. Halfway through the tunnel, the train begins to slow. The combination of the steep incline, overloaded wagons, and poor quality coal robs the engines of power. The wheels slip, the train grinds to a halt. Steam engines need airflow to expel exhaust, but now they are trapped. Smoke swirls back, enveloping the crew and passengers. The drivers try to restart the locomotives, but with every shovel of coal, the fumes grow thicker. Carbon monoxide binds to the hemoglobin in the blood 200 times more effectively than oxygen. At high concentrations, it knocks people unconscious in minutes. Death soon follows. In the dark, passengers begin to cough, choking. Some try to open doors to get out onto the narrow walkway alongside the tracks. But there is no light, no fresh air. Those near the tunnel entrances might have stood a chance, but most are far inside, trapped. Panic spreads, but it is brief. One by one, voices fade. People slump to the floor, to each other's shoulders. In the driver's cab, both locomotive crews collapse. The fires still burn, the gas keeps coming. By dawn, the train hasn't arrived in Balvano. Railway workers investigate, entering the tunnel from both ends. What they find is horrific. Car after car is silent. Men, women, and children lie still. Some appear to be sleeping, heads resting on bags or knees. Others are on the floor, as if they had tried to crawl to safety. Only a handful survive, those who had been in cars closest to the tunnel's southern entrance. Even they are weak, disoriented, coughing violently. Officially, over 500 people die in the Balvano disaster. The true number may never be known. Many passengers were unregistered, stowaways in wartime chaos. Investigations reveal multiple contributing factors: overcrowding, far beyond safe limits, low-quality, smoky coal, steep gradients in the tunnel, lack of proper ventilation, poor wartime maintenance. But there is also blame placed, quietly, on railway officials who allowed the train to depart overloaded and on wartime shortages that made tragedies like this almost inevitable. Because it happened during wartime, the disaster receives little coverage in Italian newspapers. The authorities fear panic, and besides, death is already everywhere. For decades, the Balvano train disaster remains a little-known footnote in history. Survivors speak of it rarely, their memories too painful. Today, the tunnel still exists, though trains no longer run through it. Locals say that on quiet nights, the wind through the mountains can sound like a distant steam engine, slowing, stopping, and then falling silent. The Balvano disaster reminds us that sometimes the deadliest dangers are the ones you can't see. A train, a tunnel, a night journey. Nothing unusual until invisible poison fills the air. And in the darkness, there is no warning, only silence.